Hi everyone, welcome back to Art with Mrs. Alvarez. I have a fun art project for us to do today. We are going to make our own scratchboards. If you don't know what these are really cool. They basically look like a regular black piece of paper, but then when you scratch away at them, you see all these colors underneath, okay? And you can actually make these at home. So the supplies you'll need for this, a piece of paper. I have a smaller piece of paper because your hand's gonna hurt because we have to press down really hard on the crayons. So if you want, you can use a smaller piece of paper. We need crayons, that's very important. And make sure you have one black crayon at least, okay? Because that's what we have to cover everything with. And then a pencil and a sharpener to make sure that we're keeping our pencil nice and sharp when we're doing the drawing part, okay? If you forget any of that, I will list it below this video in the description. So grab all your supplies and meet me back here so we can make a scratchboard. Now, for the base of our scratchboard, I'm going to use light colors, and I'm actually just using 3 colors. I'm going to start with an apricot, but you can use whatever color you want. And basically what you want to do is just color really hard with your crayon on your paper. And you want to press down hard enough that you can't see any of the white. You only want to see the color of your crayon. Now you'll know that you're pressing down hard enough when you see like these little crayon shavings, as you can see here. And also your hand will probably start hurting. Mine already does a little. Okay. So I have one color. I'm going to switch to my second color, which will be yellow. Now you don't have to do stripes of color. You can do circular pattern. You can color your entire background the same color if you want. Really, there's no right or wrong way to do it. The only thing that I would suggest with the background is to use lighter colors. They actually end up looking better because your scratchboard will be black, and when you scratch away the black, it's best to see a color that's lighter. It'll give it more contrast. If you use like a dark purple or dark blue, you may not see it as well. Hopefully this turquoise isn't too dark. I don't think it will be. Oof. And you know, if your hand is hurting by this point, you're definitely doing it right. You might have to go in a few different directions to make sure that you're getting all the areas of your paper. And you might want to slow down a little bit once you get to the edge so that you don't draw all over your table, like I'm probably doing. I'm almost done with my turquoise. Now I'm going to go back to I'll do my apricot again. Again, you can pick whatever color you want. I usually actually do my scratchboards almost with a rainbow in the back for my background, but I wanted to do different colors today. These are kind of 3 of my favorite colors, so. All right, I'm almost done. My hand is really hurting me.
All right, I did it. So before I start with my black, I sort of just take a look to make sure that I colored in everything as much as I possibly could. And I do that by making sure that there's no big white spots, okay? It's okay if it's a little bit streaky, but just make sure that there's no big open white spots, okay? So now I'm going to grab my black. Now, I've made scratch boards in the past, as you can tell, because my black is so small. But that's okay. That's a good thing about crayons is that, you know, once you use all the piece of crayon, you can just peel the paper and you have more there. So I'm going to use my black crayon and I'm basically going to color over all of this really hard, the same way that I just did, but obviously using my black. And the goal is to not see any color except for black. So I usually do this technique where I go across one way and I color over my whole picture. And then after I do that everywhere, I'll do it this way, across. That helps to give it a better coverage. And you may have to go over it a couple times. I know that's probably not what we want here. But you want to make sure that it's almost as dark as this, okay? And if any little pieces come off, like it did there, you kind of just have to go over those spots. Okay? So I'm going to do that to my entire paper. I'm going to speed up this part so that you don't have to watch me doing it in real time. But feel free to pause this part if you want to do it yourself, okay? So I'll catch up with you in a minute. Okay, I think that's as good as I'm going to get it. As you could see, I did maybe 3 layers, maybe even 4 layers in some places, okay? I promise the hard work is worth it. The harder you press down, the better a layer of black crayon you have, the cooler this will look, okay? Now I'm grabbing my sharpened pencil and I'm actually going to guide you guys through a drawing of a llama, okay? It's going to be pretty simple, but it's going to be a type of drawing that has a lot of lines because that's going to look really cool on our scratchboard. So if you've never done this before, hopefully this blows your mind. It totally blew me away when I first saw a scratchboard for the first time. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do for our drawing, we're just going to do curved line like this, kind of like a stretched out C. For its ears, I'm going to do one line like that, curved line, straight, and then his other ear. See, it's cool, right? Now for his body, I'm going to use a scalloped line just to kind of give the impression of a lot of fur. So I'm going to do my scalloped line, which is like drawing a bunch of U's right next to each other. I'm going to go down and around, sort of in the shape of a big rounded rectangle. I'm going to start going back up. Now, right when I'm about here, and I have to keep brushing away my little black crayon shavings, but when I'm right about here, I'm going to stop for a second because I want to do the tail, which will just be kind of like a U shape, like that. Now for the top of the back, I'm just going to do a straight line. And then we'll go back to our scalloped lines for the neck. See, super cool. Now for his face, I'm just going to do a little hole for the nose, and then I'm going to give him closed eyes, or her. Like, you can do eyelashes if you want. So just basically a U shape with some lines if you want to do some eyelashes. For the legs, I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm just going to do long, kind of like straight pegs like this. I love the curly little black crayon shavings that I'm scraping away here. It's so fun. Okay. Now, to give a little bit of like a cool detail, I'm going to put like a little blanket on my llama. Llamas kind of live in the mountains and it can get cold there. And they have these really cool woven blankets in some of the countries that llamas live, like Peru, for example. So I'm going to kind of put one of those beautiful blankets on his back. So I just put basically a square here. And then at the bottom of the square, I'm just going to do stripes, sort of like woven tassels on our blanket. And then on the blanket, you can really put whatever pattern you want. I'm just going to put a few different types of like lines. So I'll do like a straight line, a zigzag line. This is really great lines practice if you're working on those. Straight. Maybe I'm going to do kind of like a pattern of like a straight line, a zigzag line, straight line. You know, whatever you want to put on it, even if you want to do like other shapes like hearts, whatever. Maybe I'll do a wavy line. Maybe with some little circles. Can't go wrong. There we go. So there's the blanket. What else can we put? Let's put a cactus. Let's put it on, let me think. Well, actually, both of these sides I colored with apricot, so it doesn't really matter. They would be the same color either way, so I'll do it on this side. Basically, I'm going to start with a curved line. That's kind of like a backwards J. And then go up and around. Now from here, just go straight up and a curved line up and down. I'm going to pause there. Sometimes I go a little fast when I'm drawing something I've drawn before. So over, up, around, down, up, and over again. And if yours doesn't look exactly like mine, don't worry. So now you're going to do a curved line going out this way and around. Cactuses literally all look different, so it doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Even if yours don't have straight lines, if they're a little bit wobbly, that's fine too. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now I'm going to continue this line straight down. And same here. Just trying to make sure that it kind of lines up with this. So there we go. Now we can add some details on our, look at all my black crayon shavings. We can add some details on this cactus just by adding some stripes. So you're just going to follow whatever line you have created for your cactus's arm so that it's a similar shape. So I'm just going down the entire length of that arm. Now I'm going to go down the length of this arm before I go down the middle. can just draw some lines all the way down the middle of our cactus here. If you press down pretty hard on your sharpened pencil, you'll get better results because you'll really scrape away the black. Okay. Now I'm going to draw a flower. You don't have to do this part, but sometimes cactuses have like little flowers on them, so I'm just going to do a little flower up at the top here. Now I want to draw maybe something here. Maybe I draw a little cactus here, one of the little circular ones. I don't know the name of them actually, but so I basically did like a circle but a flat bottom. And then I'm just going to draw some lines in it, like little spikes. And then maybe I do a little flower on the side. Okay. I'm going to add actually some details to my llama now that I took a second to sort of look at the picture. I'm just going to add some little C or U shapes just to make it look like his fur, his fluffy fur, and also just to make a little bit more use of our scratchboard here. I put so much work into it, I want to be able to see a little bit more color. There we go. Maybe I do one more cactus on this side. I'm not trying to create extra work for you. I have extra space here. If you don't have to do a cactus here, but I'm just going to do a small one. So here's one arm. This one's going to be a little bit shorter. Go down. Maybe here's the other arm. There's a straight line, and then make sure this one's straight too. There you go. And we'll just do our lines. Now, an easier way to do a scratchboard would be to go to a craft store and buy a scratchboard. Those are the official ones. But it's so much more fun to make your own. And actually, the regular scratchboards, you can't really scratch with a pencil. You have to use like a specific scratch stick. Okay, what else? Let me add the line for the background. So I'm just going to kind of start about an inch away from the bottom. And like I always do, I just kind of jump over anything that gets in my way. And I try to make sure that my line stays, you know, in the same straight line across the whole picture. There we go. Maybe we have a sun. Just trying to think of something to fill up this little space here. Maybe he has a little smile. I'm not even sure you can see that. Maybe there are some rays of sun coming out. Again, just trying to think of a way to put as many lines and scratches in my scratchboard as possible, just to make use of our hard work. Yeah, that looks cool. Okay, so I think we're done. I'm going to do one final thing, and that is I'm going to add a thicker line. So basically I'm going to go over all the contour lines of everything I've drawn, but I'll speed up this part again so that you can do it if you want to, and if not, you can just see how I do it, but I'll see you in a minute, okay? officially done. Do you see how much better it looks when you make the outside contour lines a little bit thicker? You can see a little bit more color and it gives you a little bit more of that contrast. Hopefully yours came out awesome. Hopefully your hand isn't totally hurting you still. But I hope you guys had fun, and I hope to see you back here for more art projects. Bye! If you guys liked making art with me today, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my new videos. Hope to see you back here again soon.